Hey guys, I'm Nishant and welcome to Cybernetico. So in this video, let's talk about states in React. What is state and how to use them. So here I have a simple example with a count variable, let count equal to 0, one function to increment it, one h1 tag in the return to display the count value, and one button to increment the count when we click it. So let's try this example. Click the button. See, every time we click the button, increment the count, the value is getting increased by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But our page is not getting updated. The 0 is still 0. That is because when this count changes in this function, it's not rendering our component, this app.js component. To solve this, we have states in React. So to create a state in the functional component, we will have React hooks. We have React hooks. So our hook is called useState hook, which we have to import it first, like this. Import useState from React. So we have to create a state first. So const arrow brackets, sorry, what is it? Array brackets. So array, we will have the value variable name, which is count, and one function to change it when we want to change. So we will have to use set count. You can use anything you want at the place of set count. Then followed by a use state. In this small bracket, we will add the type of the state. So it's a number because it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So we'll use 0 like this. Let me remove this count. Fine. So that's done. So if we save the file, this count will be 0. Because now the count is coming from here. If we change it to 1, this will be 1. See. So let's make it 0. Now to change it, we have to do this. We don't have to use this. So to change it, we will just use set count. And in the set count, we will increase the value of count like this. Or let me modify this existing one. So remove this count equal to count plus 1. We will simply set the value. Let's say the count is getting incremented by 1. Then we will save the value in the set count. Now let's try. Let's increment the count. See, now it's getting incremented properly like this. Fine. So that's how we use states in React. You can create any type of state you want, like this is a number, then we can have a string, let's say name. Let's say set name equals to use state. Let me use so this is a name, I mean it's a string. So we'll use quotes. Fine. Then we can have other states like boolean, let's say is visible, and set it, we will have set is visible. Then use state, so it's a boolean. So let's say if we want to make it false initially, then we have to use false here. Fine. Let me give an example here of this boolean state. Let's say we have a button or this button. We want to see this button only when the state is true. So we'll use curly brackets. So is visible if it is true. I am using the ternary operator. So if it is true, then this first and small bracket will run, or everything inside it. It will return this is button. But else if it is not, okay, let me just make it some h1 tag here, and I will say visible, and if it is not true, we will say not visible. Save. So now let's change it. Remove this, or just after this, we can have set is visible. We will reverse the value using this thing. So you can say not equal to is visible. So let's say if it is false. So if we click the button or this function will run, it will be reverse false, which is true, then it's getting stored inside the set is visible. Let's try. We have not visible. Click the button to run the function. See, now it's visible. Click it again. This would be invisible or not visible. See, that's how it works. To use set name, we can also use set name. So let's say we want to set the name to Nishant. Let me print it out here as well. And H1. So see, initially it's nothing. So we have not saying anything here. Click the button, increment the count. Or let me change the name of this button. We can have change states. Much proper. Click. Now see, the name is now here. Fine. We can have array states as well and object states. So we can say const, let's say array and set array. To use array state, we will have to use this because this denotes an array. We can have multiple objects inside array or multiple items like this. Or if we want objects, we have to use this. So let me create or just do this an object first. Let's say name, which should be equal to Nishant. Let's say age 26. Let me create one more object in this array to make this an object in an array. Yes, that's called array object. So here we have to use name as something else like Uday and make 25 or 26. Fine. So it's an array state. See, we can also have an object state here. So we can say const object and set object equals to use state. Let's say an object. If you want to make it empty, it will be empty like this. But if you want to add some value initially, we can add some things like name and age properties like this. So this is the numeric state, this is the string state, boolean state, array state and object state. So that's how state works in React. I mean mostly in functional component. Let's now change to class components. To use the class components, let me just remove all this and make RCC class component. To make the class component state, let me just remove this as well. Fine. We have to use something called constructor first. Constructor. I think that's right. Inside this, we have to use super keyword. Then we need the state. To create the state, we have to use this keyword. This dot state equals to, let's say, a name. So a name could be empty state, or we can have default state like Nishant. Fine. So that's how we create state in class component. Let me print the state here. So to print the state, we will have to use this dot state dot name. But let me wrap it in h1 tag. h1. Save. See, the name is here. Okay. Let me add class name of. Fine. This should be in center. It's not. Let me. Okay. Need to import app.css. Import app.css. Like this. Now it's in the center. See. So if you want multiple states, we have to use name. Then we can use, let's say, age. We can have 0 initially or null also. But we don't use, I don't prefer to use null. So to add the age state, we can use age. It's 0. Fine. Similarly, in use state, we have this state. Let's say we have an array of something. Let's say an array. And just a colon and the array. We can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. So to view this, we can just say this dot array dot map. Sorry, this dot state dot array dot map. This dot state dot array dot map to get the values from this array. See, so we have to use one property. So if you want to see how map works, you can see my previous video in the same playlist. So we can say item. So this map, okay, I will not explain this to you, but basically this map will increment, or this map will, what is it called, iterate over every item and do something. So let's say we want to return something like this. Return, let's say item multiplied by 2. Save. See, all the data is now here. I mean, all the array items. So 1 is multiplied by 2, then 4, then like this. So that's an array state. Let me remove this. All right. So let me show you how to change the state. So we can have a function, say change. Okay, here we don't use const keyword, sorry. We just use change state. It's been so long since I used class component. Fine, change state. Let me add a button. Let's make it as change state. On click this dot change status. See, let's change the status to age of 0 to something. We will have to use this dot set state, and inside we will use a curly bracket, the state name. So let's say age we want to change, and let's increment the age to something. So we can say this dot state dot age multiplied by 2. So now this state will be multiplied by 2, but let's make it 1, because 0 into 2 it will be 0. This is how we change state in class components. Now click the button, this will be changed to 2. See, now it will be changed to 4, then 8, 16, so on. To change the name state, we can use this, or we can also use in this as well. So here we are setting state of the age. Let's change the name. So we can say name will be this dot set state. Wait, what was it? This, or just let's make it something like Uday. Now click the button, say change state. It's Uday, and this is changing as well. So we have to use state like this, change state like this. So this is how set state works in class components, setting states. So that's done. So we saw two examples in class component and in functional component. So make sure to like the video and hope you learned something today. Okay then, now I'm logging out. Bye bye.